The Rolf Harris thing was very confusing and shocking.
Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we're looking at TV interviews and moments that are deeply unsettling in retrospect.
I did notice that you kissed Sir Jim's ring when he came in. Is this an exception for you?
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
John Gummer's burger.
The Agriculture Minister, John Gummer, today enrolled his daughter Cordelia in his campaign to persuade people that eating beef is safe.
In the 1980s, stories began to emerge of a strange and deadly new virus, BSE, afflicting Britain's cows, which conclusively made the jump to humans in the 1990s, leading to 178 deaths. But in 1990, Agriculture Minister John Gummer wanted to persuade the public that there was nothing to worry about where British beef was concerned, so he and his 4-year-old daughter Cordelia decided to eat beef burgers on television to prove that the fears about BSE spreading to humans were baseless.
It was a little hot for her.
Too hot!
But later he munched it himself to prove to the world that he at least is confident there's nothing to worry about.
In hindsight, this is chilling. Cordelia thankfully was fine, but we now know that the risk was very real, and it's shocking that Gummer took it.
There is no need for people to be worried, and I can say perfectly honestly that I shall go on eating beef as my children will go on eating beef, because there is no need to be worried.
Gavin Plum.
I only really go out my front door to put a bin bag in the bin just outside the flat, and that's every few days.
It's not easy to find footage of this 2018 show now, as the BBC has understandably scrubbed it from its websites. But Gavin Plum, the man now best known for his plot to kidnap and murder TV star Holly Willoughby, appeared in a documentary about his obesity years ago.
When I'm in pain, the pain gets so bad that it's crippling.
Some clips have surfaced in news reports about the kidnapping attempt, as well as the revelations that he'd got previous convictions for attempted kidnappings and other violent incidents against women. In the clips, he talks about how he almost never goes outside, although he did have to go outside when, a decade prior, he went to prison for attacking 2 teenage girls with a box cutter.
Plum, a security guard, was arrested after detailing his kidnap plot to an undercover cop in the United States. The officer believed Plum posed an imminent threat to Miss Willoughby.
Princess Diana.
Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded.
It's certainly one of the most infamous interviews ever, and made for uncomfortable viewing even back in the 90s. But decades on, and it's finally come out that Martin Bashir only attained this interview through fraud, tricking the Princess of Wales by presenting her with falsified bank statements.
Martin Bashir spun a web of elaborate lies to win the trust of the princess.
It was emblematic of the wild press interest in Diana's private life, made more disturbing by the fact that she'd die less than 2 years later because of the paparazzi. In 2020, there was finally an inquiry, and the BBC apologised to Diana's brother, and Bashir's career ended in tatters.
Do you really believe that a campaign was being waged against him?
Yes, I did, absolutely.
The BBC won't license the interview out anymore, but that didn't stop Netflix from recreating it, warts and all, for the Crown. David Icke's The Son of God.
The world is not necessarily going to end, but the Earth is going to go through a series of geological changes that are necessary to make sure it doesn't end.
Once upon a time, David Icke was simply a sports commentator, having a brief football career in the 60s and 70s and then switching to journalism. But did you know that, as well as playing for Coventry City, he's also the Son of God? In 1997, he held a press conference saying that natural disasters were going to imminently destroy the world, and that he had this information because, of course, he's the second coming of Christ.
The press claim that you claim to be the Son of God. Mm-hmm. Is that true?
Yes, you see, the thing is that it's quite funny, really.
He went on Wogan to defend his views and was roundly humiliated. Today, Icke spends his time spreading wild conspiracy theories, many of them deeply anti-Semitic, including writing various manuscripts denying the Holocaust. It's a world away from being laughed at by Terry Wogan.
When we think, we create an energy field. This is how telepathy works. An energy field leaves one being and other beings can tune into it and read that thought.
Philip Schofield comes out. Today it's believed that Philip Schofield hastily made his coming out statement and appeared on This Morning on his day off because he was being pressured by the tabloids.
With the strength and support of my wife and my daughters, I've been coming to terms with the fact that I am gay.
It's thought that if he didn't do it, he was going to be outed, so he was trying to get ahead of the story. But it's also speculated that he was trying to stop the other story about him and that male runner from coming out, a rumour that was already circulating in various outlets.
At ITV, I couldn't hope to work with more wonderful and supportive teams. Every day on This Morning, I sit in awe of those that we meet and who have been brave and open in confronting their truth.
Well, eventually that did happen, and Schofield was promptly pushed out of This Morning and out of all of his television roles as a result of his unwise but not illegal conduct.
I mean, I feel a little lighter, but I also am very, very aware of, that there's no question that it causes pain and it causes upset.
Victims should speak up.
I should imagine that my experiences must be typical, and these footballers that experienced it, you feel guilty. Yeah. You feel like you've played some part in it.
In 2016, everyone's favourite disgraced MasterChef judge was on Loose Women years before he faced any public controversy. The debate turned to online comments about sexual assaults against minors, something Greg Wallace himself said he'd experienced in his autobiography. He encouraged victims to speak up, and then, in 2024, they did. His victims.
I wanted people to know, because also it happens, the people that do it are people that you like.
And you trust.
You're close to.
Now, to be clear, none of the allegations against Greg Wallace were as severe as CSA, nor were they against anyone underage. But there's something chilling about watching a man advocate on behalf of fellow victims while he was behaving so reprehensibly behind the scenes.
You have to speak up. You're not in trouble. You haven't done anything wrong.
Rolf Harris and Yvette Fielding.
And we all went, oh, what a dirty old man. Oh my God. And it was forgotten. It's only afterwards when it all came out and you think back to that.
No footage of this Blue Peter moment has surfaced in the years since it happened, and we're not surprised. We only know about it because Yvette Fielding, Blue Peter's youngest presenter, has talked about it since. But during a 1980s appearance, when Harris was a guest on Blue Peter, Fielding talked about being left alone with him when he behaved inappropriately towards her.
Other people in the industry must have known what he was like, and you left me alone in the studio with him. That shouldn't have happened and must have been 18, 19.
Many of Fielding's other Blue Peter moments take on a different hue when you realise that she was tormented backstage by the show's infamous boss, Biddy Baxter, too. She said Baxter took a dislike to her and she couldn't understand why, even dictating where Fielding was allowed to live.
Biddy would come down, you'd hear her high heel shoes clicking coming down the staircase into the makeup room, and she would put red lines and changes.
Prince Andrew on Wogan.
Is it very difficult for you to meet a girl and to, ask for a telephone, for example?
Channel 4 unearthed this old clip, also from Wogan, with a young Prince Andrew for a documentary it ran about the so-called Problem Prince. In it, Andrew's being interviewed not by Terry Wogan, who was on holiday, but by Selena Scott, and he couldn't stop himself from flirting with her. Perhaps at the time, with Andrew still in the spotlight as a prominent heir to the throne, this somehow came across as charming.
This nickname that you have.
I'm listening. Which nickname?
I feel a bit embarrassing.
But we now know that Andrew never grew out of his inappropriate behaviour. He claims here that his notorious nickname was a result of a misunderstanding when he was visiting the girls' dormitories during his time at Gordonstone. Do you believe him?
And I was unfortunately caught going through a door in the girls' house saying hello to somebody. And it stuck. Not many people use it nowadays, but I don't think that it actually fits today anyway.
Neil Gaiman and Amanda Palmer.
Like, you spend enough time with your fans and they really know you and they really like you and they really trust you.
In this old interview for Wired, fantasy writer Neil Gaiman appeared alongside then-wife Amanda Palmer to talk about the outrageous success of Sandman and what it's like living in Sandman's creative shadow.
I realise I'm signing books for people who were not born when Sandman #1 came out.
He talks a lot about his interactions with fans as does Palmer, in a way that becomes unsettling in 2025, now that a bevy of criminal allegations against Gaiman have been brought to light. Some of the allegations are too explicit to repeat here, but he was accused of violating the consent of multiple women, many of whom he was in a position of power over, and sometimes in the presence of his and Palmer's young son. He's now being sued by at least one of these victims.
I had all these cool stories in my head and I hoped we wouldn't get cancelled before I told them.
Evil presence.
May I present that to you, Sir James? Is it Sir James or Sir Jimmy?
No, it's Jimmy today.
Sir Jimmy.
Yeah.
Everything Jimmy Savile's ever done is extremely disturbing in hindsight, and that's if it wasn't disturbing at the time, which, as we know, it was, since plenty of people were aware of what he was up to the entire time.
Do shake hands with Mr. Chewbacca. Sit back up there.
It's this moment in particular, though, from an old taping of Jim'll Fix It, that we're going with. This child's dream was for Savile to fix it so that he could meet Chewbacca during the height of Star Wars popularity.
Do you like it down here on Earth?
What's he saying?
He senses an evil presence.
He senses an evil presence?
Yes.
Who could that be?
The little boy tells him that Chewbacca can sense an evil presence in the room, and Savile wonders who it could be. We all know exactly who it was, though. Let us know in the comments which other unsettling moments you remember.
But it's all about connection, and it's all about connecting to other human beings.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo UK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.